There you go. Welcome to Prop 5 here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. I'm Ethan Skolnick. You can follow me at Ethan J. Skolnick at 5 Reasons Sports. I got Eric Wadicki. You can follow me at Eric Wadicki. Thanks, as always, for downloading the PrizePicks app. Well, actually, if you've done it already, you don't have to do it. But if you haven't done it, you should do it. So download PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com. You can find it there for the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. You put down $5. You get $50 to play right away. We've been having a lot of signups lately because people are realizing it's back in the state of Florida and they've got their best promotion they've ever had, which again is you put down the $5, they give you $50, you just got to play it, play your initial money, and then that other money is yours to use. So we're going to do this as kind of a combo show. We don't have Lewis available today for pregame for yard prep. He is going to be on the extra yard today. So after the Dolphins are in Buffalo, we're going to do this as more of kind of a PrizePicks combo show here with the Dolphins. Eric, before we get to some of the props here, let's get to some of the Dolphins' likely inactives. So we're not expecting Javon Holland today, correct?
Nope.
We are. Who else is a definite out as a regular?
Zach Sealer is out.
Yeah. The eye
is out.
Yeah. Okay. So again, you're without 3 core players on defense. Including a guy who I think right now might be their best player on defense in Sealer, or at least their most consistent player. The offense, though, is intact. I don't know if it's a good thing or not.
They're down Julian Hill, though.
Well, they are down Julian Hill. Right, you're right. For fantasy purposes, it's intact. For fantasy purposes, because Julian Hill is a blocker. He helps create things for other people. Oh, by the way, our guy Eric Smith is up there today. Follow him at OL Coach Smith 63. He's on scene in Buffalo. I would not wish that assignment on anybody. I've been to Buffalo, though, often in December and January. The Buffalo Marriott. I actually went to a wedding at the Buffalo Marriott. So, and again, not a need to ever go back there anytime soon. But the Bills are 6.5-point favorites today, Eric. That feels light to me, to be honest. I'm hammering it, which means I don't think that the Dolphins have a real good shot today. Before we get into the props, give me a recipe here.
Oh man, I mean, I think the recipe kind of has to be what they attempted to do in the first game before things kind of went off the rails, which is run the football, outpossess the Bills, time of possession, play keep away from Josh Allen, and even then, I'm not sure that'll be enough. But you just got to be as conservative as possible, try to keep it as close as possible for as long as possible.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's just such a balance because I know that McDaniel's instinct is, look, they threw the ball over the lot with Skylar Thompson in the playoffs a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like his instinct is going to be to try that. Let's go through some of the props today. Let's start with Tua. He's a little bit down on the page here, but we'll get to him. So he's at 255.5 pass plus rush yards, or 243.5 pass yards. I feel an over here, but I don't know that it's necessarily a good over. Like, I feel like it's an over because it's a necessary over. Looking at 22 pass completions, 6.5 rushing yards, I don't know that I would play that. I don't know. How would you play him?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're probably right as far as that goes. I think we're looking at a game where the Dolphins are going to be down by multiple scores for the large majority of the time. And so any overs are kind of a result of, whether it's fourth quarter garbage time or just, hey, we need to throw the ball 80% of the time because that's just what the game script kind of dictates. And for that reason, I actually kind of like the Demon on the passing touchdowns at 1.5.
Yeah, I do too.
Because I think the Dolphins probably scored 2 touchdowns in this game, at least, I hope.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to have to throw the ball a ton.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think, unfortunately, we're looking at, like, tracking garbage time stats here. I feel like that's kind of where this is at. And, it's problematic, obviously, that's the way we're having to look at this. But I do think that's probably the way that this plays out. All right, let's take a look at I mentioned Devon Achane beforehand. They took it off the board. I was looking at his I think I wanted 4.5 receptions. I don't see it now. So that one's not on there. But I like his overall receiving yards. I know Sean loves it. Our guy Sean Rochester loves that one. I think the over receiving yards is 39.5. Um,
39 and a
I,
half.
I think he's going over. I just think I think the dump offs. I feel like there's going to be a lot of that accumulating yardage that way. Seems to me how they want to use him now. So I would play that over. I don't know that I play the rushing yards over. I kind of feel like he's going to have. I don't know if those numbers were more equal. I sort of feel he's going to be close to equal with that. Would you play him or Mostert?
I would probably play Achan's rushing yards. The other thing that I kind of look at as my eye kind of just drifts across the board there is that Achan plus James Cook combo at 115.5
Yeah.
looks pretty nice. Where I think Cook is going to have another pretty big game, and Achan's really not going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting in that combination. But for Achan alone, I would definitely look at the receiving yards.
Yeah, I could see that. Cook. The only thing that worries me about Cook is sometimes they did this in down here where they give other backs a series, and so I guess I'm somewhat concerned about how that plays out. Let's get to the receivers. I don't know what to do here, Eric. I mean, Waddle's at 50.5, and Hill is in the 70s. He's been all over the place this year. I saw a stat. Our guy Alan Poupart dug up a stat that Hill has not had a reception over 25 yards in his last 8 games against the Bills. So that concerns me in terms of him accumulating yardage today. I feel like Tua is going to try to force some things, but I don't know. Would you play either of these guys?
If I would play either of these guys, it would be looking at the targets, because I know that that just requires pass attempts. It doesn't require completions. It doesn't require yards. And I know that they're going to be throwing the ball a ton. So if I'm looking at anything, I'm actually looking at targets. I could see Tyreek getting 10 plus targets in this game.
All right, let's pivot over to the Buffalo side. Josh Allen, he's at half an interception. He's not thrown an interception this year. Is that right? Is that correct? Or I mean, he's had a fumble or two, but I don't believe.
I don't think he has thrown an interception this year.
Okay. And the rushing yards, I always play him over, but he's been under the number that they have here for his last 5 games. I'm going to play it under the 29.5 rushing yards. I just don't think he needs to. That's where I'm at with it. Like I just don't think he needs to. Like I know he's terrorized the Dolphins in the run game in recent years, but I don't know. That number seems a little high to me. I know he got 25 last week. I just don't think it's going to be a necessity. I would play that one under. I looked at the Kincaid prop. I might play that one over. And the Cook prop, again, is just my concern that it gets turned over to, they do split things up a little bit. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But that's my favorite prop today is the one I would never take before, which is playing Allen under on rushing yards.
Yeah, looking at it right here, looking at this board, I do agree with you that Josh Allen is likely not going to be running as much. In week 2, he only ran for 2 yards against the Dolphins, which seems like something that we wouldn't have ever believed. I don't think he has to again. If I'm looking at anybody on the Bills, I'm actually kind of looking at Ray Davis. Because if it does get to a point where this game is pretty ugly, he's going to be the guy getting the majority of carries over a James Cook. And at 21.5 yards, I think he just gets the work to justify that.
I can see that. Any other props you like today? Well, first thing, let's give a prediction. I think the Bills by 2 touchdowns. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I think this is one where it maybe looks a little bit closer in the first half, and then Buffalo kind of pulls away. I could see like a 27-10 game here, which would be pretty ugly, but that's kind of what the season has been.
I think so too. I think it's one of these games. It's just wipe it off the schedule. You're 2-6. Okay, let's just get to next year. I hate to say it, but that's what it is. They had to have taken at least one of those 2 games, and I think then we just sort of reset. All right, some other props that I like today. Jaden Daniels, 230.5 passing yards against the Giants. I love it. When he's been healthy, he's gone over that in the last 4. I would play the Kyle Pitts props are kind of popular today. I really like the the overs on him today as well. It seems like he's finally found it with the Falcons.
Yep.
I would play Dak probably over today on the passing yards. I know you see him there, and I know Sean really likes AJ Brown today. Hard to argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, against the Jacksonville secondary, I kind of like both of the Eagles receivers.
Yeah.
And by extension, I kind of like Jalen Hurts in the passing game in that one, because I think his yards is only at like 218.5. So those would generally be where I would be looking. I also like Lad McConkey. I think he's at 4.5 receptions. I think he probably goes over that pretty easily for the Chargers.
All right, so those are some of our props today. Again, we're not expecting a lot from the Dolphins. Only 9 more to go after today. Only 9 more to go. It's a rough thing. Go Panthers. Go Canes.
Yeah, it is.
We'll see about
that's right. That's right. That's
we'll see about the Heat. I don't know about the Heat. I mean, they've beaten the 3 worst teams in the East and lost to the 2 good teams. So I don't really feel anything has been accomplished.
They played the Bucks already?
Oh no, good point. Good point. They have not played the Bucks already. Right. Well, that was my call. Anyway, Eric, we appreciate it. I'll probably like to be on final yard today. And we'll try to get through this. 27-10 sounds like this kind of score. It just does. It just feels like it. But yeah. I actually think the Dolphins are going to get a couple touchdowns. I think they'll get some cosmetic stuff at the end, and that's where I think Tua picks up the passing yards here. But it is really unfortunate that the Dolphins have fallen this far behind the Bills when we thought this was a down year for the Bills. So it is what it is. Thank you, Eric. Use the code 5, FIVE. Get your $50 on your 5. Have a good one, everyone.
Later, guys.